Okay, guys, we're going to start maybe a couple minutes early. Um, Nathan had to leave. I appreciate you all being here once again. Like we said earlier, a lot of the times the first thing an entrepreneur looks for is a location, right? A location on a business. Much like coffee shops, we've also kind of had a big explosion in restaurants in Brownsville, and I know restaurants can be challenging. There's a lot of things that go into a restaurant, and so that's why we came up with this panel today. And we called it Mesa Lista because we want to talk about all the challenges and a little bit about why they chose a location that they chose and how they went about that process. And so I have some great panelists today as well. We have Melissa here to my left with Crepe Town. And so she just recently announced that they're going to open in Palm Village. And so they're expanding into Palm Village, which is great. That's one of Origo's properties, but we appreciate your tenancy. Mark Garza with Texican. He's extremely popular. I think, Mark, you've been around for a long time. Man, Texican's going on, 8, 10 years? 7 years, wow, okay. And I know you've had a lot of, you've kind of moved around and stuff, but we'll talk about it. We'll jump into it. And Mary with Jolie Petit, she is downtown. She's got some fans. Welcome, Mary. And Vanessa with Lettuce Eat Salad. Awesome. And so, I'll open it up for the conversation. We'll start kind of go this way, and talk about that first decision. I think, Melissa, we'll just kind of fast forward to Palm Village. Why did you decide Palm Village? And the same thing for all of you. Why did you decide? What went into that location? Because a lot of the things that we see on the commercial real estate side is sometimes people make decisions and that location is critical, right? And sometimes they just, they go into a location because it's either less expensive, but it's just not the right location. So that's kind of what I want to get out today is why, how, and we'll kind of start the conversation there. Melissa?
Sí, hola.
En español también.
Hola. Hola. Nuestro restaurante tiene ya 10 años, cumplimos 10 años el próximo mes. Ha sido un poquito ¿verdad? pesado estos 10 años. Empezamos en el Brownsville Farmers Market, 3 años, 7 años adentro del Museo de Arte, y pues es el tiempo de darle un lugar bonito, una ubicación al restaurante, ¿verdad? A la marca, hacer un rebranding, buscar una plaza comercial que estuviera cerca, que estuviera en el centro histórico, que tuviera ayudas también que están dando, estacionamiento. Las Palmas pues, es una avenida súper bonita, tradicional de Brownsville, está tomando mucha vida. Estar cerca del zoológico, los coffee shops que están aquí, que se están abriendo, que ya están, los restaurantes del centro, pues es algo maravilloso lo que se está haciendo ahorita. Entonces es muy bonito cambiarnos también no tan lejos, conservar nuestra gente, ¿verdad? La comunidad.
Tienes, cuando hiciste la decisión, la hiciste porque tus clientes ya te conocen y no te quieres ir muy lejos, y por eso dijiste, déjame irme a Palm, o digo, ¿en algún punto consideraste otras partes?
No, claro. Cuando tomamos la decisión de ya abrir el restaurante en una ubicación con una plaza comercial, sí tuvo mucho que ver la decisión en conservar a nuestra gente, a nuestros clientes. Hay muchos clientes que ya, pues sí, que los vemos, que ya son familia, que han hecho parte del crecimiento, de la estabilidad del restaurante. para mí era muy difícil pensar en cambiarme más lejos, también el miedo si funciona o no funciona, cambiarme totalmente de ubicación algo más lejos. Para un negocio local, pues sí, eso sí influye mucho para nuestra seguridad.
Perfecto, gracias, Melissa. Mark, I think I know you've lived it all.
Yes.
I've seen you
From food truck to being on the side of the expressway.
food truck to another food truck,
Yes.
food truck park, another park, and then the expressway.
That's
but
a long
overall,
story.
you all you do a good job of maintaining the brand, and I know you're out there and you have a very, very loyal following. Talk a little bit about that journey on the food truck side, and then how you ended up on the side of the expressway, not in a bad way. But
I've been on the side of the expressway in a bad way
what
multiple
drew you
times.
to that location?
We don't talk about those. Well, we started at the food truck park, right? It was supposed to be a hobby. It was always a passion, right? But it was supposed to be a hobby because I have another business. So I started there Thursdays and Fridays, and then I said Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and slowly it progressed as we had clients coming in and they enjoyed the food, they enjoyed the style. And we went from the food truck, we had a disagreement with the location that we were starting to renew our contract, and we had to find another solution. So sometimes, it's a tough question, but sometimes you have to make decisions that are going to be scary. Like she's moving, and that's a scary decision. Even if you have a brand that's been there for 10 years, it's always scary to move. But I remember when we wanted to re-sign our contract, they wanted me to mandatory be open on Sundays, and I don't work Sundays. I give that day to the Lord, and I make sure that the employees have that opportunity to go to church if they want to go. So we said absolutely not. So we moved down the street to Trails End Saloon. That's the place that you're talking about. Yes, for a small moment, but at that time when we made that decision, we had already placed a contract on the building on the expressway. We didn't have the money to rebuild the entire building on the expressway, so it took a process. So the time that we were at Trails and Saloon, at the same time that we were generating that money, we were building out the current location. So we were just kind of trying to survive there while we opened up on the expressway. We knew that the expressway was going to be ideal for us because remember we were about 6 months into our business when COVID hit, so drive-throughs exploded. So we knew that we needed a drive-through to continue expansion, and that was, instrumental. So that location on the expressway has a drive-through. That was ideal. After our small stint at the Trails End Saloon, we went ahead and moved to the expressway, and the rest is history. We've been at the expressway, I think, for 4.5 years now. It's expensive to be on the expressway, but it's ideal for us. If you want to drive through to be successful, you need to have easy access.
Well, you bought it at a good time, right?
Yes, right before everything went crazy. Absolutely.
But yeah, it's a very visible location, the expressway, and we get a lot of calls over at Origo, and we've been pretty successful on Sable, at the old El Globo location.
Yes, I called.
Yeah,
I did call.
And so, but everybody, the national, everybody that comes in from the outside, it's really interesting because you always hear, "I want to be on the expressway," and then even then, you want to be on the expressway north of 802, right? And it's very challenging to get people to kind of pull, especially the national franchises and the national restaurants and stuff, to pull south of 802, and it's been challenging, but like Palm Boulevard, like you said, Melissa, the local community understands these locations, understands there's a bit of a nostalgia, and that kind of leads me into downtown, right? And so, Mary, I think you've been open, 2 years maybe, más o menos?
Yes, we just turned 2 years.
Congratulations. And talk to a little bit about, once again, that decision that you made to plant your flag in downtown. I'm very familiar with that building and what happened and what you transformed. So talk to a little bit about that story. I don't know if that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had Jolie Petit in mind for a very long time. It was just, when is the right time to jump in to do it? So I have a friend from high school who messaged me on Facebook and asked me if I was looking. She saw that I had just graduated from culinary school, and she asked if I was looking for a place, right? Because she knew I had talked to her about Jolie Petite. So she works for my landlord, and she said, "Hey, I have a space in downtown. Would you like to see it?" And I wasn't looking for anything. I wasn't planning on doing it right away. I still needed time to do my R&D, and I said, "Yeah, let's go. Let's do it, and let's go see it." I saw the space, and I fell in love with it. It looked nothing like how it looks right now. It was a shell, but it had so much character. The walls, the landlord explained to me how each of the paintings that you see that are scratched off, the blue one is the one that was here this time, and the original painting from that wall, from the brick wall, is the yellow. So you have all of those layers of that painting. And well, I've been to Half Moon Saloon before, right? So I felt like it had a lot of character, and I loved it. I did see other places, and I fell in love with it. And it was really hard for me to really make a decision and set my decision. And I went back to that first one that I saw. So I saw about 5.
In different parts of Brownsville?
Just in downtown.
Oh, just in downtown.
Just in downtown.
Okay.
I had
so you wanted to go
I wanted to
straight.
be here.
You knew you wanted to be here.
I knew I wanted to be here, yeah.
That's cool. I had never heard that story. So, Vanessa, your experience, you're over on Pablo Quisel.
Yes. Originally, I wanted to be in, what was the plaza called before, where El Globo is?
It was North Park Plaza, and now it's
So that's where I had always envisioned Lettuce Eat Salad. I'm like, I want to be in that plaza. Again, like Lettuce Eat Salad had been an idea for a long time because my parents moved to San Antonio maybe 8 years ago, and they were there for 5 years. And there's a restaurant very similar that I would always go to. Like I would literally drive into San Antonio and drive there. It's called Salata. And so that was always my idea, like Brownsville needs this, Brownsville needs this. So I wanted to be in North Park Plaza, and when I originally called, the price was great, but then I was like, I don't know, there's really not a lot going on there at that time. This was 5 years ago. I'm like, there's really not a lot, and then we had the opportunity to be at Pablo Quisel. I'm like, well, that's where everything's at. Like, everything is on Pablo Quisel. This is before the bars. So I was like, okay, the price wasn't that much difference. So I was like, okay, we can do it over there. I like the big windows that we have there. We're kind of like at a corner. So that's pretty much what drove the decision. The location, there's gyms there. There's a lot of different businesses there. Target.
It's interesting you bringing up the bars, because we've gotten some people at Sable Market or North Park Plaza that are leaving that area because of that. So talk a little bit, because that's a challenge, right?
Well, it is really, really challenging. And the most challenging part is that during the day, we don't have daytime traffic. So our plaza looks empty during the day. There's nobody going to have coffee. The only thing that's really open on our side that's daytime is the hair place. But it's really like 1 or 2, 3 people. There's nobody having coffee, nobody going to yoga, Pilates. So the plaza is really, really empty. So people, I feel, drive by and they look and they're like, oh, they forget about that plaza because it's like, oh, it's just only bars. That's the nighttime plaza. So it's been really a challenge, and we've really talked to the landlord about that. Like, hey, please bring in some daytime businesses. But that is our most challenging obstacle in that plaza.
Yeah, it's another great point, I think, for people out there is, tenant mixes can change.
Yes.
And I just had somebody reach out about Palm, and he's a friend of mine, and Palm, now we're gonna have El Torito and Crepe Town.
A lot of restaurants.
And I said the restaurant, yeah, but I said I think we're gonna be okay because kind of all those restaurants have different hours.
Yeah.
Right? Like
yeah.
I think Torito's going to be kind of a lunch
Morning.
breakfast place morning.
Yeah.
And then Crepe Town, I mean, more lunch, kind of dinner-ish, you know.
And we actually thought about moving, so our contract's up for renewal this August, and I was like, okay, what do I do? Like, do I move? I called Palm Village, I called Sable, there was really nothing available, so, but I'm like, that would cost a lot of money to move. So, we're there, we'll be there.
Cool. Talk to us. I mean, I think, you know, restaurants. In my observation, it's all about the experience, right? I think you go for the food, right? But I think a lot of the restaurants that I see now, they're really kind of investing in that experience, right? You know, the moment, I like to say, the moment you walk in, you know, you kind of feel in a different place. And so you know, just kind of generally, you know, like Melissa, what are you know, are you thinking about that experience? You know, what is that going to look like? Maybe a preview. And then, you know, your experience with that, right? Is that, you know, I guess the question is that 50% of your business? Is that, you know, 10% of your business? People that come just experience the place. So.
Eso yo lo veo que lo voy aprendiendo o lo he estado aprendiendo conforme los años, porque al principio era, pues sí, todo es como que una enseñanza, una escuela. Ahorita que ya vamos a la plaza comercial nueva, entonces ya estamos en equipo, pues que haciendo un rebranding, pensando en la experiencia, que todos los restaurantes son la experiencia desde que entras, los colores, el servicio al cliente. Ya vamos entendiendo cómo funciona, que todo es un equipo y pues vas formando la idea. Pero sí, la experiencia es muy, muy importante. El ambiente, las vibes que se viven cuando entras, todo tiene muchísimo que ver. En el museo es algo sencillo, música, pero la gente, los clientes dicen que se siente bonito, se siente paz.
Sí, digo, es el vibe, porque yo lo digo, a veces hay restaurantes que abren y no le piensan en eso, ¿verdad? No le invierten en un poquito de esa experiencia, ¿verdad? Y dices, ¿verdad? Está bueno todo, pero le falla, ¿verdad? Mark.
Yep, for sure. The vibe, the ambiance, that's real important for us, especially at Texican, right? We set up on the side of the expressway because we want to be far away from everything. We want people to come by and feel like they're kind of not in Brownsville. They open up the door to that big black building and everything's wood on the inside. And you want to give them that experience of being really, really, really in the middle of Texas. Even though we're in Texas, sometimes you don't feel it until you walk into a place that's got the dead deers on the wall that I shot, right? Or you've got a bunch of animals. That's true. If you've been at my restaurant, if you haven't, go check it out. The investment of you as the owner in there to give them that great experience and that great feeling, it should also reflect who you are. You can't really fake it. If people will see through it. So the ambiance and the vibe that you are putting on, it needs to be real. There's a playlist playing at Texican, and it's consistently playing, and you can find it on our Instagram page. You can download it. It's on Spotify, and it's on Apple iTunes, because we think about every single song that's playing, even while you're eating. So, like, there's an extensive playlist. I go through all that because I want the experience to be fun. We want it to be very unique. The food's unique. The experience needs to be unique. The ambiance, my staff always wears cowboy hats. You always see everybody in boots. We want to make sure that it's not just, it's a basic barbecue joint. No, you need to come in and get the full experience, because, you know, not everybody can afford to go out every single night, or you save up and have dinner once a week, and you want to make sure that they're having a great time. It's got to be worth it. Get bang for their buck, great experience, and the ambiance that they're looking for. When they're going to go have barbecue, it better feel like you're in Texas.
That's critical.
Yes.
Your opinion is
absolutely
critical.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
It's like when I go to Jolie Petit. I feel like I'm in France. Right?
Yeah. It reminds me, one time my wife and I went to New York, and we stayed at an Airbnb. I tell the story a lot. We stayed at an Airbnb, and it was in a warehouse district. And so I asked the owner, it was in like the basement. It was kind of a weird place. And I said, "What do you do?" And she's like, "I'm a color forecaster." And she's like, "I can tell you the color you're going to wear the color that's popular going to be popular the next 2-3 years. And then she's like, specifically, I do Starbucks, McDonald's, and some other brands. And I said, I can tell you when the store was built by the paint scheme inside. Wow. Right? And she's like that. I can tell you it was done 5 years ago, 7 years ago. I can tell you everything about that store because the experience was designed from the minute you step in. And so I think that's important. So yes, you take us to France?
Take you to France every day.
How did that?
I think, whatever you sell, whether it's food, whether it's a product, it goes hand in hand with service. You have to sell service as well. And at Jolie Petite, we not only sell food, but we sell the service. It comes with, the great experience that you're going to get as soon as you walk in until you leave. So I think that is very important to acknowledge.
And I mean, I think, if I think of any restaurant, I mean that's kind of like you really feel like you're somewhere else, right?
Right.
And you really put a lot of effort into that. So talk to us a little bit about that. Like, is that you just kind of? Did you hire a designer? Did you hire an architect? Did you that kind of stuff?
So I did. I hired a designer, which is Miriam Casares, very talented. And she helped me transform the vision that I already had for Jolie Petite. I think it was definitely a group effort, right? She really, really tackled what I really envisioned for Jolie Petite. But I give it up to her. She is incredible designer, and I really recommend her. She's from the cages that we have that were made in Mexico, and the frames that were, we hired a woodwork. What was it? Carpenter person, our carpenter to build, and yeah, I think everything, and then. Also, Karen Loza did our branding, and she picked up our colors and helped me out with that. So I think the branding and the designer that made it come to life.
Thank you, Vanessa. Experience.
So the experience at Let Us Eat Salad, it's kind of like a fast food healthy, right? Because you're kind of like in and out. Like you just go down the line and you pick your toppings. You sit, and you can be in and out of there in 20 minutes. So that's kind of like our style, but also I wanted it to feel like fresh, clean, which is why like we have the windows, which is why it's really hard for me to say like I want to move, because we have those windows, we have a lot of natural light coming in, everything just looks nice. You take pictures of the things, all the food looks super fresh because of the natural light from the outside. So, and I feel like if I were to move somewhere else, our ceilings are super high. So I feel like all of that kind of plays into like the aesthetic of Let Us Eat Salad. And I feel like if I were to move somewhere else, it would just not be the same experience. I feel like you walk in there and you're like, oh wow, this feels clean, this feels fresh. Like I'm gonna eat healthy, I'm gonna eat good, I'm gonna feel good when I leave from here. So.
Is there a potential to do another location? Not gonna move? No, not yet.
I don't think so. I do a lot of stuff. I mean, that's just like that is not my main thing, right? I'm a dietitian. I've been a dietitian for 13 years, and I recently just left my job to just focus on my nutrition clients. So I really want to focus on that, but I also want to just really be there present. Like I feel like for the past 4 years, I mean, I was working at the hospital for 7 years, so I wasn't really there much. And I feel like now I'm finally getting that experience of actually being there and seeing the people that go and who continue to go. And I'm like, wow, all these people come to my restaurant. Like I haven't even seen them. So it's been really nice to see them. So I just want to focus on that one location and just really make it grow as much as we can.
Awesome. I'm sure you all have been through, a lot of people talk about permitting the city. What are those issues?
Me first.
Yeah.
Where's the city of Brownsville? Where are they?
Yeah.
We need to hire some people, city of Brownsville.
Let's stay positive. But what is that experience? What are the lessons learned that you think, oh, hey, maybe if I would have done this differently, and if I would approach the city differently this way, What are the lessons there? Melissa, I know you've gone through it like a week ago, right? So, and I'm sure you all, it's kind of a spaced out, the experience, but, ¿qué hicieras diferente?
Como aún no terminamos y estamos en el proceso, es tardado, lleva tiempo y pues el tiempo pues es dinero, entonces pues ¿qué hiciera diferente? No sé, que fuera más rápido. Sí es muy frustrante que tenemos el tiempo encima, que queremos trabajar, ¿verdad? Y que tarde tanto, 4 meses, 5 meses, ¿verdad? En
Darse para el permiso.
Ajá, 4 meses.
Wow.
That was my experience as well, about 5 months, 6 months. Maybe in retrospect, possibly the only thing I may have done different is maybe hire somebody. Since I was the one pretty much spearheading everything, I went to go get permits. I didn't have my own, was my own contractor. So I guess maybe my lack of experience could have delayed the process a little bit, but we are still talking about 5 years ago, so there was a shortage of employees at the city of Brownsville, and I'm not sure how they're doing currently, but I do remember asking and saying, how in the heck is it possible that it takes this long to get somebody to come out and check out the building? And they told me they had a backlog of like 1,500 permits that they were trying to catch up with, and at that time, they had possibly 6 employees working on it. It wasn't because we weren't hiring, we were hiring, it was just a lack of interest in working in Brownsville at that time.
Well, you bring up a good point because, I was at an event yesterday, and there is this kind of
Stigma of working in Brownsville?
No. There is this boom in the sense that, you aren't necessarily staffed up to review. You're used to, maybe 300-400 permits a year, and all of a sudden you're getting 1,000.
Yes,
well,
that's SpaceX growing at that time too. So they were getting all these permits from all over the place. The downtown's exploding, and the housing boom as well, right? Which we had to house all these employees that were coming for SpaceX. So yes, they were completely overwhelmed. So it wasn't a terrible experience, but it was definitely challenging when you have to wait and paying on a note, right? And paying $5,000 a month for just a billboard on the side of the expressway in an empty shell.
Yeah.
And it was just a shell
Yeah,
of a dream.
I think I tell city folks all the time, you got to look at it from the other side, right? And I think, like you guys said, like Mary said, it's about service. I said, you got to look at it as, you're right. Hey, there's a note, there's a payment, there's this, there's that. There's other things at play other than just let the people work, right? And
I think I
they
paid
all
for
want to
about a
meet.
year.
They all want to meet code, right? They all want to meet the regulations. But yeah. So what, Mary? Your experience? Anything you would change? Anything you recommend?
I would recommend not announcing your dates because you never know. I think we announced that we were going to open in October of 23. I didn't open until April 24. And I would say, learn to be patient, definitely, but also persistent on what, always follow up with, your permits, ask questions, educate yourself by asking questions, all the questions that you need to ask.
There's a lot of them.
There's
There's
a
definitely a
lot.
lot of
Yeah.
questions.
I think when you run into like the health side of things, that's a whole different level of complexity. Vanessa, any thoughts, any recommendations?
I didn't have a hard experience.
Thanks.
Thankfully. It was like a 3-month process from the time that the contractor came in to start doing the work to the time that we opened. We had permits, we had everything, health department, grease trap, like everything. So I am so thankful that in 3 months, we started in October of 2021 and we opened January 2022. So it was a good experience on my side.
Awesome. Hey, I asked this question on the coffee side. I mean, what do you think is the future? What does the future hold for Brownsville? The dining scene, restaurants. We have had this boom kind of in restaurants. Is it nearing kind of an absorption level that, hey, we can't have any more? You know what I'm saying? So what do you all see the future? You all are in the business. You know, where do we go from here?
Yo creo, bueno, que viene mucho lo local, los restaurantes no con comida procesada, o sea, es el futuro para las nuevas generaciones, más restaurantes sin tanta comida procesada, restaurantes locales. Yo creo que la gente está apoyando muchísimo eso, muchísimo, es lo que viene y creo y sí, así va a ser, así va a ser.
¿Hay la vibra, ustedes sienten la vibra de, porque yo siempre quiero, you know, shop local, eat local, podemos, I mean, can the community do better in that fashion, or are we good, right? Is there more, you know?
I think the community is their standard, you know, the people that are here, people that go to the restaurants, their standard is now higher. So yes, the community will go out to eat, but you need to also provide the food that they expect. With all the restaurants that have opened, I think we've already hit pretty much the peak of what we can handle, because now only the strong are going to survive. We have a bunch of them opening, so you better have a really good product, and it better be way above and beyond, because me as an owner of a restaurant, I look at appetizers a lot, and if I see a repetitive appetizer at 4 or 5 different restaurants that are, you know, quote unquote, the higher end ones, one of them's not going to make it because they're replicating the same product. If you're going to replicate something, you got to make it your own, right? If I'm making brisket, it better not taste like the guys on Palm Boulevard, right? It better not taste like Rudy's. It better not taste like anybody in Central Texas. I need to have a product that stands out on its own. So you have to have a really, really great product. I don't know if we can sustain more restaurants. I see that concern. I'd love to see growth, but I also get concerned when I see an explosion like that and I go and visit them and I don't see the tables full. There's, I don't want to mention them, but I go to all the restaurants because I want to see how they're doing, because that's a sign of success for me as well. If I see them full, that makes me happy. I say, okay, great, that customer's going to come visit me, and that's really what happens. You know, my client's going to go with Mary, or they're going to go to Let Us Eat Salad. They're going to go to all these different places, and we just see them come in and out, but that's because we've been around. I don't know if that experience is the same for the newer people that are opening restaurants, and it's challenging. It is challenging. And if you like to collect a check every week, don't open a restaurant. You know what I mean? I'll tell you, it's high risk, high reward. I have the opportunity to go see my kids and leave out of town to go see them compete and basketball and all that, but I don't have the luxury. We're talking about this, right? You don't have the luxury of just hanging out and saying, oh, I'm gonna get a check on Friday. No, you might. You might get a check on Friday. It might not be till Monday, or that catering job might not pay you for 30 days or longer, SpaceX. So you gotta watch out. So be careful. The other thing I also tell people, we just turned down a job. It was $25,000, and it's a huge job that we turned down because they said, we're gonna pay you in 30 days. And I said, no. I said, you pay me now, or I'm not gonna do the job. And I'm not gonna tell you which company it is. But I try to turn down those jobs because I don't think I need to finance anybody else's success. You know, I don't go to Applebee's, I don't go to Jolie Petit or to Bull and say, hey, I'm gonna grab this and I'll hit you up later, you know, I'll call you in 30 days. No. So these companies that are larger corporations need to also be responsible. If they want to support local, well then show me you support local by leaving me a 50% deposit and demand it. As a restaurant, demand 50% deposit, demand 75% deposit. No refunds if you cancel. Because if they order that food and you prepare and they decide to cancel at the last minute, or even worse, you do the whole job and you're waiting for your check, that's a lot of money for a small business in Brownsville, you know? And I've got a couple employees that are real mad at me right now that they said, are you seriously turning them down? I said, absolutely. I said, I will not do that. They need to change their rules if they want me to go out there. If not, I'm not gonna do it because I won't wait 30 to 60 days to get paid. Nobody should have to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially in the restaurant business, right? You've already
it's
put
ridiculous, and you'll hear it.
I'm glad you bring up catering because I know, Melissa, you've been doing a lot. I mean, I've seen a lot of activity with catering. And I think yesterday, did you cater that event yesterday, the White Texas? I saw some really.
Us?
Yeah. No. Okay. And but I mean, has the catering business kind of increased as well? I think I just see a lot of events. There's a lot of things. There's a lot. So I'm glad you
Catering's
bring
fantastic.
That up.
Yeah, we've been very busy with catering. We do it all the way to South Padre Island. We go to Edinburgh, Westlake. And I think once you build up a brand and you build up value and you build up enough, I guess people want you to be there, they're willing to pay that extra price too. So if you have a restaurant, make sure you put value on the job you do. Don't think that you need to lower the price and try to, well, I need to be competitive. No, you also need to be realistic. You can't give away your food. We don't do business with, the company down on the beach because they wanted to negotiate pricing with me and I don't budge. Said, my price is this and this is what it is. There is no way that I'm gonna go out there for anything less than what I charge, and that's why we don't do business over there. And you know what? As much as you think that should scare me, I was not scared. My business has thrived and I have not had any problems because I did not want to service somebody who wanted a discount, who wants to pay me in 30 or 60 days. Value yourself, value your business.
Awesome. That's a great message. Mary, what do you see? What do you see for Brownsville? And I'll ask you just a specific question. What do you see for downtown? The scene that's kind of been building. What do you see there?
I can see continued growth for sure. I really want retail to come in, and we're definitely working on that. That is my second plan after Jolie Petite. But I do see other restaurants popping up here and there, and I think that's great. I think that's great to continue bringing a culinary district to downtown and make Brownsville a tourist destination. So to come in, we have a lot of customers from McAllen, from Mercedes, from Westlaco coming to Jolie Petite, and after that, I always tell my servers tell them there's Bull down the road, there's Hare and Holly, there's other places, if they come for brunch, let them know Chilmoli is open, at 5, or these other restaurants, and there's bars here. So I think there's definitely an entertaining district that downtown is going to become.
Awesome. Vanessa, I'll ask you, I'll kind of dial in the question of the future, but more importantly, healthy eating. I mean, I've seen that dramatically grow. I've seen the awareness of that also grow. So just future and specific healthy eating.
Well, I think it's definitely trending right now, and I think a lot of people are also on board with supporting local businesses, right? I feel like more and more over the years, I feel more now, maybe this last 2 years, people have been more on board with support local, also because there are so many new businesses. So people are like, oh, Brownsville does have cool stuff. It's not like, years ago where it's like, oh, Brownsville doesn't have anything. It's the same restaurants. So I think that that's great. And I think what's great for us, all four up here, is that we all provide something very specific and very different, right? Crepes, brisket, French food, healthy food. So we're having more variety now in the city in terms of restaurants versus just saying oh, we only have tacos and burgers. And that's really been a challenge for us too, because it's really hard to convince somebody that a salad or a wrap is going to be better than tacos. But
I disagree. Brisket tacos are way better than salads.
I feel like
I strongly disagree.
People are on board now, and I'm really grateful for Brownsville Online, because I feel like they have really promoted a lot of local businesses and really drawn attention to what we have here in Brownsville.
And so dial in on the health. Do you see more? Do you see the market having the ability to absorb more health? You see juice bars, this, that.
I think so. I think also there's a bunch of gyms opening. There's a bunch of Pilates studios opening, yoga. So I feel like people are more geared to wanting to be healthy, feel better, and eat food that makes them feel good.
Awesome.
I agree with her. We actually added lunch bowls to our menu because we know that Vanessa's making healthy meals there in that location. Then you have Chipotle making their bowls on Paredes. So we needed to add an option there in Olmito because we didn't have one. So with the lunch bowls at Texican, are going to have the cilantro lime rice, the Brussels sprouts, and then you can choose to have chicken and the black beans and the corn. So you have another option that's kind of on the healthier range, as opposed to just having a brisket sandwich or pulled pork sandwich or the pork belly tacos, which are my favorite, right? So you do have a lighter version there at Texican.
That's cool.
But she's right, yeah, people do want that. I don't agree with those little articles that are saying that Brownsville's not healthy and this and that. That's not true. I think that they're
We're
probably
getting
getting their numbers wrong.
Yeah,
Right,
I
Vanessa?
think, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, the explosion in gyms, healthy eating, I mean, it's there, and I think it's here to stay. So, there's a couple more minutes. Any questions out here? I'll take you the mic. Can you
Talk to me.
When it comes to customer education, because for example, for French food especially, right? Brownsville, for example, bringing in a holiday meal restaurant like Sassy's Thai, dealing with customers, what's in your experience what's been the best way to educate, our Brazilians, right?
Give them a little taste. That's what we do at Jolie Petite, especially for dinner. We have duck. Not everyone is, or it's not the first thing that you look at the menu, right? We also, so we gave little samples of that, and it tastes like chicken.
It's
you
really,
know?
really
It
good.
tastes
It's
really
locally sourced
good.
from the Resaca's in Brownsville, right?
No,
No, okay, maybe
I
okay,
wish.
sorry.
Resaca at the table. So I think giving them a taste of it, explaining, and really educating the servers, you know, and having the team to help you educate the servers, really having the servers taste the food. Tell me 3 things that you taste, you know, this and this and this and that. And okay, so now they're educated and they're able to educate the customer, right? So I think definitely giving samples, but also really educating your team.
And how do you get them from not just once they're in the restaurant, educating them on their menu, but having them actually come
Come
to
back.
I know the answer to that. I think what she's really, really good at is has events. She has events where she does collabs, and then those events end up being samples of pretty much a lot of things that are on her menu, right? That's pretty much your answer. Right?
Yeah.
I'm helping her out because she's a real good friend of mine. That is true. So I think that even helps me because even though I eat a lot, but even some of the things on her menu, I look at them like, what in the hell is that, Mary? So show me, how do you even say that? But you get those opportunities when you have these collabs and these events to taste all the items on the menu, and it brings people back. I know we've had great customer feedback from the event that we did with you, and vice versa, right? We had her customers come visit us, our customers go visit there because they've never been. Sometimes it's intimidating for someone who they're used to tacos and brisket, and they're like, I've never been to Jolie Petite. I'm kind of intimidated. I've even had people saying that they had never gone to Dodici. I was like, why? Because I don't know. It's like a high-end pizza. I was like, dude, it's pizza. My buddy owns it. Go. It's cool. So I think those events are really instrumental. If you're looking at opening a restaurant, definitely do some collabs with people so that you give them an opportunity to taste amazing food.
Yeah, that really does help. And for example, in our event, we had escargot, we had frog
Dude, it was
legs.
so good.
So frog legs are very French, and it kind of did like a Mexican salsa in it. So customers would come to dinner expecting the frog legs, and I said, no, I don't have the frog legs. That was only for the collab event. So now I have them because people ask for them. So
Also locally sourced?
no.
Never mind. Gilbert, I'm listening. He was probably here for the coffee section. Did you open the coffee already? Is it open at the library at your bookstore yet?
Not yet. We just need a water filter. But if I were to ask you a question, what is one thing that you wish you could have told yourself before y'all started your business?
Stay in school. Yes, okay. I should have stayed in school. Really, I should have stayed in school. Go ahead.
One thing that I would tell myself is I think you're going to be fine. Really, really have faith in yourself, right? And first, and I think that is really, really important. You know, always just look at your end goal. And I know there's going to be difficult days, and that's the beauty of it. I think difficult days is what makes you or breaks you. So I think really, really is just having a strong mindset and continue pushing. So.
Melissa? Hace 10 años cuando empezaste,
Hace 10 años que hubiera
si ahora te ves que
Pues hace 10 años me hubiera preparado mejor con el, o sea, realmente empecé de cero, o sea, tengo un equipo de diseño, de redes sociales, de marketing, de todo, de diseño, arquitectura, planos.
empezaste en el Farmers Market, ¿verdad?
Empezamos Farmers Market.
Y todavía, yo sé que todavía sigues los domingos ahí con Graham, ¿verdad?
Ajá,
Todavía has
todavía,
mantenido
trabajamos
eso.
los domingos.
Sí, porque me acuerdo que luego brinca, pero todavía, aunque, ¿y lo vas a mantener todavía?
Todavía, sí.
Wow.
Ya, bonito.
¿Por qué? Digo, no, porque,
Pues
digo,
no
estás
sé.
vas a estar a 3 cuadras, digo,
Tenemos tantos años que no veo por qué quitarlo.
para servir al cliente.
Al servir al cliente, estar ahí, ajá, hacer presencia.
Okay.
I was her customer 10 years ago too at the farmers market.
There you go, yeah.
And
me
I
too.
remember Graham with the farmers market
Yeah, I
as well.
remember that too, yeah.
Yeah,
Vanessa?
I think one thing I would tell myself is just continue to believe in your product and what you provide or what you offer. And people will realize that and they'll see like, okay, she believes in it and it's growing, so it has to be good.
Awesome. Any more questions? Otra, no, I'm just kidding.
Some people have these big dreams. I mean, obviously, y'all have big dreams, right, for food. When you're starting out, not everyone has access to capital. So how did you, whether it was like you're bootstrapping, whatever, how were you able to make your dream a reality of opening a restaurant in terms of finances? And what were the struggles?
I had a business before I opened the restaurant, and I had two businesses actually, but I was also going through a divorce. So that was causing a large financial strain when I decided to go with Texican. That's why we only opened for 2 days, because it was a large risk. Everybody had told me, like, I don't know about a restaurant. I said, neither do I. I've never owned a restaurant, so I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but let's do this on a food truck so it's lower risk. I was real fortunate. I always tell people I was blessed. I called the phone number. The buddy says, hey, you want to take over this food truck? I called the phone number, happened to be somebody that I knew. He worked on the police department. He was like, dude, no deposit, no nothing, just pay me $300 a month, take over the food truck. I just needed busy. So I got really, really blessed with that. But start small. I mean, start small. I know that Jimena was here. She's at the farmer's market. She started at the farmer's market. Start small, and you will see that. But even if you start small, don't go with lower quality product. The product that you're going to serve at the end, when you own 10 restaurants all over the state of Texas, start with that product too. I remember when we were deciding what kind of bread to use at Texican, and when I say we, I'm talking about a 7-year-old boy and a 9-year-old boy, because those are the two that were doing my taste testing, my kids. And the bread that I wanted was different from the one we have, because it was 83 cents. It was, the one they chose is 83 cents. The one that I wanted was 40 cents. So I said, okay, guys, test it. And they said, this is the best one, Dad. I was like, really, the 83-cent one? Are you sure? I said, take another bite. Are you sure? So I'm like, but look how pretty this bread is. Keep checking it. Well, we ended up with our 83-cent bread that's now at Texican, right? But when we started, we've always had that same bread. It's always cost us a lot of money to make a sandwich. It's not cheap, but we started small. Yeah.
Melissa, la inversión ahorita que estás haciendo, digo, es una inversión, es un riesgo. Háblanos de eso.
Sí, pues ahora es un riesgo, pero estos años me hacen tener un poquito más de seguridad. El farmers market, empezar pequeño, es de gran importancia. Creerte lo que estás vendiendo, que te guste, hablar con la gente, vender, transmitir, colaborar, pedir favores, estar bien con todos. Yo con Graham empecé a vender ahí las crepas en el café de enfrente. ¿Puedo vender 4 horas? Sí, claro que sí, adelante. Los domingos, que es el día que hay menos gente, 20 de 9 a 1. Tengo 10 años en la cafetería, todos los domingos trabajando con Graham. ¿Me voy a ir? Pues no me voy a ir. Ahí estamos. Entonces es estar vendiendo tu producto, creértela, que te guste lo que estás haciendo. Y ahorita, antes no había tantas ayudas, ahorita hay muchas maneras de donde te puedes agarrar, muchas. No hay que investigar, hablar, conocer.
I've always seen the farmers market as probably one of the better incubators, and it's just kind of grassroots, right? And you put out a product, you test it, and you start getting that feedback. I mean, I think I agree with Mark. Put out the best product you can first, right? And don't try to change it. But okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for agreeing to be here. We'll try to come up with another panel next year, something creative. But
Thank you for having us.
Thank you all for being here.